Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to Shite Talk, an Irish history podcast. Real quick before we start the episode, I just want to say from next week we're going to be releasing episodes on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. That's actually just pretty much the big announcement. Other than that, we've got live gigs in Kilkenny for Halloween. We've got one in the Workman's Club in Dublin with Peter McGann on the 25th of November. And other than that, go sign up to Head Stuff Plus for all of our bonus content and old episodes and some film clubs and all the good stuff. That's enough anyway. Go listen to the episodes. Talk to you next week of a Tuesday.
Gather around now, you're in for a story. Old tales of lore, all in search of a glory. History and mystery of lads, lasses and all. Discoveries and voyages, the rise and the fall. Follow me now as we go back in time. We trace the steps of Irish lineage to find Joseph from Carlo and Kevin from Dog. Guide you through the ways of Shite.
Keane isn't overly happy with the beginning of how the trip is starting.
Right.
Because they go to the airport and they're met by Bertie Ahern.
Uh-huh.
As they're about to leave, they're down at the airport.
Yeah.
Terminal 1, Terminal 2 hasn't been built yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a time.
So Bertie shows up, always a man looking
So the
for...
farmers about to get an awful lot of money in their bank accounts for useless land outside fucking Finglas.
Well, I have noticed, but in a lot of documentaries, they do that, the style of going like, this is what was in the charts at the time, and this is what was going on politically.
Right.
This story has too much going on to be caring about anything outside of the very small bubble of Irish football and what's going on in this tiny island off the coast of Japan.
This is the cultural context, the other stories.
Yeah.
With the whole way through the Bertie Ahern series.
You should be going, this is what was
happening in Irish football, which I'm pretty sure we did. I think we talked about this meeting in that series.
Yeah, because he was because he went down looking for, it's like a media opportunity, and he can go down and shake the hands of all the lads. He's a big Man United fan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, to be fair.
Keane's Man United captain and one of the star players.
Yes.
In defence of Keane, McCarthy described the airport as bedlam.
Yeah.
Keane described it as a shambles.
Right.
Bertie himself did later on say that it felt weird being down there because you knew something was up, because the rest of the team was talking to the media and the fans and all of this, and then Keane was over on his own.
Himself,
and he was like, I think he just didn't want to talk to you / Also, you're getting ready to go to this tournament. It's going to be a 20-hour flight. Some people say 17, some people say 20, some people say 24, but it's a long old trip.
Yes.
And Keane doesn't like travelling with other people. He doesn't like the Irish team. He's grand with his Man United teammates. He rooms alone instead of having a roommate. He stays on his own.
More space for pizza.
One of the main problems was the media. Well, obviously the fanfare and all of that. You're going on a big trip.
But you're heading off to the World Cup. There's going to be media. And if he'd been following politics at any point, Bertie's going to show up. He's not going to pass that opportunity to go down and shake a couple of hands.
Of course. Yeah,
that's going to happen.
Well, he didn't expect there to be the Irish Sun to send down 2 journalists dressed as leprechauns.
Yeah, that's not good.
And he wasn't a big fan of that.
Yeah.
That was the big problem. Now he's got 3 clowns he's looking at. So that was a big issue.
Yeah.
Before the connecting flight in the Netherlands, he had a go at one of the journalists.
All right.
And then
they're flying with them, are they?
Yeah, that's one of the big problems as well.
Right.
The FAI are idiots. No. And that Keane is one of his big problems in the improvements of the setup of Ireland, that he said back in the 90s, early 2000s, he was like, how about the executives who aren't the professional football players who are going to be running around on the field, how about they sit in economy class or business class?
The players up front.
Yeah, they put the players in the better seats.
Yeah, yeah.
Have the lads, the fat cats. But they need the bigger seats because they're fat cats.
Yeah.
And that was something that he got changed, and people did say it was like that was a big deal.
Okay.
I remember when Ireland was the draw with Russia when Richard over in Russia when Richard Dunn, he ended up like scratching off half the side of his face because he fell onto like the running track around the side of it.
Yeah.
I was going over to England like a day after. all the lads who were playing for like Wolves, West Brom, Birmingham, or Aston Villa were all on the same flight.
Yeah.
Ryanair flight with the regular public. Like
Even Aer Lingus.
But it looks bad for ye having a 16-year-old Jason Brennan walk up and be like, "Can I shake your hand?"
Yeah.
So just to say that in general, the FAI in terms of travelling and planning, pretty cheap, pretty tight, waste of money on a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Not helping the players in any way.
In general, and this is because, this will show up in a whole host of episodes we've done and will do. We had a bad time taking ourselves seriously in the early 2000s. It was a real sending leprechauns down as journalists before the team heads off. Like that was the whole. CMAD's even doing an awful lot of stuff now, marketing like that early 2000s. Just open shopping centres with a bikini model holding a giant euro coin. We didn't really know what to be.
Yeah, we had some things that were good, you're right.
Sure. We had money for the first time and we didn't know how to take ourselves seriously. We had no faith in ourselves.
Bono was willing to get a helicopter to get Jason McAteer to Slane.
And he said no.
But the FAI wouldn't get a helicopter to get the lads from Dublin to Birmingham.
John Delaney didn't believe in himself enough that he thought that could be a possibility.
John Delaney
thought it was a prank.
Delaney had multiple helicopters that didn't even leave the ground on the day of his birthday.
Oh yeah, but
they wouldn't get one to get the lads back home. But
there's an awful lot of money in the country going to stupid stuff. But we were also afraid to be like, let's fucking knuckle down. I don't know. Let's take something seriously.
But it was also the Sun, and they were like, the Leprechaun think it'll be funny.
Yeah, so they probably do that again now.
Now the problem is on the plane that they go around giving out complimentary newspapers for all the lads to read.
Right.
Now they say that because they knew it was a long flight and that the lads had been out pinting, they were allowed to have a couple of drinks.
Yeah.
I don't know if Keane partook in that, but he wasn't happy with the idea that in those articles, people were giving him shit because he didn't go play in Niall Quinn's testimonial.
So he's been handed a newspaper that covers stories about him not going to play his testimonial.
Yeah, and lads saying that it was like a disgrace or that it was like it was a bad thing and painting him in a negative light. And they're on the flight with him.
Yes.
On a 17 to 24 hour flight with him. And so he gets one of them, I think one of the Leprechaun guys he gets at the Connection in the Netherlands. Another one, I don't know if he's a Leprechaun one or just another journalist, he goes down and berates him in the middle of the flight. That's a melting pot, a cauldron. It's too, what are you doing?
But as an aside, surely there are some Liverpool players there as well. And now you're handing them a big copy of The Sun. Well, it's not. Doesn't look good for them. That seems like an oversight on their part.
I guess also the guys have been kind of like drinking a little bit on the plane, but seemingly not. That's not a big deal. It's not a big crazy deal. They all touched down. It's been a long flight.
Yeah.
They've been doing it the cheap way. A lot of people use the term package holiday.
Right.
But once they finally land in Saipan, they're greeted by basically nobody because it's not football and hotspot.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. It's more known for sumo wrestlers and suicide. We'll get to that in a little bit. They're not related.
Yeah. It's like that's going to be the title of your autobiography.
He did one and he made a joke about the other, got him cancelled. You'll never guess which one.
Yeah,
so they get to the hotel, but the hotel staff are there. They give them some. Was it not luau's or the laves? The flower necklaces. These are people that if the World Cup was in their back garden, they're watching sumo wrestling.
Sure.
Yeah, there's also loads of Americans live there as well. It's a tourist destination and it's
But like if the sumo wrestling World Cup was here. The same level of interest people would have.
But
if the sumo wrestling team was practicing here.
Yeah, or if the World Cup was here but Ireland weren't in it,
sure,
it'd be the exact same level of interest.
Yeah.
But they do have some music organised and they're playing some like local music and that. So some of the players come in, there's going to have a little bit of a party that night. And then Keane decides not to bother with that. He goes to his bedroom.
Right.
Now,
which he does.
He likes to do that.
Yeah.
While the rest of Japan had World Cup fever, the only fever in Saipan was heat stroke. The average temperature is 30 degrees.
Beautiful.
Which wouldn't be actually too hot considering you'd think like I hear stories of I lived in Austin when it used to be like 40 degrees, 42 degrees in the summer, and in the 1994 World Cup they had like that was crazy. It was barbaric what they were doing, making players playing that, and that was before they could do like the morally righteous thing and move it to Qatar where they could put air conditioners in the stadiums.
Yeah.
Thank God for our overlords, Qatar.
Yeah, that was a fun moment where it was like, you're pronouncing guitar the wrong way. It's like,
I don't care.
I don't care. They can take this one.
Haven't they been through enough?
A little bit of respect.
Yeah. But it's a very small island. There's not a lot to do, which could be seen as a good thing or a bad thing.
But you're there to, pre-game practice.
But they're only there for about 6 days, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
And so the idea would be to do a little bit of training, have a little bit of fun, play a little bit of golf, and everyone knew that going in.
Yeah.
Now, again, the package holiday thing comes up because they're in a hotel that doesn't necessarily have high-end sports facilities.
Yeah.
That's a big issue.
Okay, so like gym stuff.
A gym, yeah. Now, they would have had probably like a gym, but in terms of a state-of-the-art football
International
field.
football, before the World Cup. Yeah.
How about just a football field?
Okay.
Yeah. How about just that? That would have been loads.
Uh-huh.
Keane was annoyed that there was only 2 sets of goals because usually
Is the swimming pool Olympic sized? The which what? We've got a pool table.
Well, see, the FAI had asked in their defence for a state-of-the-art pitch to be made and to have all these facilities. They just didn't do it.
What do you mean the FAI asked them to make?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They said, "Oh no, we."
Oh, we asked them.
Yeah. Oh, they said they'd do that.
Yeah.
But
we rang Dublin. We asked them to build the state-of-the-art sumo wrestling stadium. They didn't get back to us.
I have the sports director of the Ole Sports Complex said this.
They had dug up this place and dumped a bunch of old cement, concrete, all sorts of stuff in here. I think they were not anticipating on using this area again for sports and stuff. But then the Irish came up and said, we need a field. I knew what they were going to expect, and I knew that the field wasn't going to be ready. When it rains, it made puddles and holes. When it gets dry, it's just solid as a rock. Back then, they also had some big holes that the ground would just sink down. So there were certain areas every day we'd have to check and cover it up,
Basically, when they say it's a car park, and that comes up a lot, it's because it is. Like that it had been at some point.
A car park.
Yeah, so it's as solid as a rock. And if it rains...
When he said that, it sounded like he made up that idiom or phrase. It was as solid as a rock. Yeah. That's pretty good.
And a course.
That's a good point, actually.
There's one specific part of the pitch ended up just getting, when they did try to water it, all that happened was it all went to one area and that got waterlogged. So, Keane's not happy that there's only 2 sets of goals. Steve Finnan gets injured on, and he's...
But looking at that pitch, there's like, holes everywhere.
There's literal sinkholes in the field. And they haven't, no one's gone over in advance to do a little bit of reconnaissance to see how it's all gone. They've also, they go to have their first training session, and things get a little bit worse from there.
Right.
That they, as Keane says, he calls them skips, as well, like, where you have your big boxes of things that you might need, like bibs, water bottles, footballs. They're not there yet.
No. So
that they don't have anything to train with, so that they just have to do a little bit of like cardio on the field for the first basically 2 days. The football,
the field where if you put a foot wrong, you're out of the tournament.
Where lads are already getting injured. Yeah. Steve Finnan, who would have been our starting right back, gets injured. He plays the tournament anyway. Yeah. But he's like, this is a really rough thing. If he's injured, we're going to have to fucking play Gary Kelly. So this is a problem. Yeah. Turns out the Leprechauns, they were fine. But obviously the FAI kind of says, there's nothing we can do now. It's they said they'd be here, and Keane's point is, and he brings this up in interviews, is like, it should have been here 2 weeks ago. Yeah. It shouldn't have been like, it's meant to be here Thursday, we're here Saturday. It's like, why wasn't it here 2 weeks in advance?
Wasn't there anyone down to look at the spot beforehand?
Just send one person, and they could just have it all. It's like,
to be fair, I thought that would have been right up the FAI's to spend a load of money sending a fact-finding team over
Delaney should have been there for a month.
Yeah, a month before. Yeah. Didn't make it out of the airport. Yeah. But
also, is there not like a sports shop on the island? It's a remote island. Stuff. Yeah. But like, surely there's a child who has a football you could just pay over the odds. But yeah, there was nothing they could do in terms of like kicking footballs, obviously, so they're just doing some cardio, to the point of which journalists don't even go out to cover them.
Right.
Because they can't. There's nothing to talk about. It's just lads running laps. But then on Tuesday, the May 22nd, the second day of training, I think it is, and the 4th day of the 6 that they're on the island.
Yeah.
The session's getting close to the end, And as is always the way, either do a 5-a-side game or a 7 or 8-a-side game, break up into like that, goalkeepers in the nets. And the problem is, Packy Bonner, our famous goalkeeper,
Yes.
he's a famous goalkeeping coach, saved the penalties against Romania back in,
They made him into a stamp.
yeah.
2 very funny names back to back.
Hi, I'm Packy Bonner.
Packy Bonner says that you're mispronouncing my name. It is actually pronounced Boner,
Packy Boner, yes. Yeah.
which he could have just not.
Nope.
No, he needed to say that.
Yep. He's a proud man.
But so back to the training session that they say the Packy Boners brought he has brought the goalkeepers out early.
Yeah.
And they're tired now, and they've been out an hour before the lads, that he doesn't want them wasting all their energy, so he says to go inside. But then Keane's like, no, we need the goalkeepers for the match.
That makes sense.
And they're like, no. And unfortunately, again, weird to have the Irish press there, just in the same complex, allowed down to take photos and watch all the training and watch Keane lose his mind.
Yeah.
And call Boner / Alan Kelly a bollocks, and all the other expletives that you'd imagine.
Right.
They're all leveled at him. There's photos out there, I'll throw them up on screen now, of them having this giant argument.
Right.
And at that stage, Keane goes and hops back on the bus on his own and goes back to the hotel.
Yeah.
He's not happy about this. The rest of the players come back later on, and Keane goes to McCarthy privately and says he's had enough. He wants to go home.
Okay.
Yeah, he says he's sick of this third world approach.
This is his breaking point.
But McCarthy tries to talk him out of leaving.
Sure.
And Keane says, no, he's not for turning. The Keane's not for turning.
Yeah.
He says his World Cup is done. McCarthy said he'd better call up Colin Healy. Been playing centre midfield, another Cork man, having played centre midfield for Celtic. He'd be the replacement.
And he's not there.
He's not there. He's at home because you can only bring the
Oh.
You've already done your culling. You've already done your cuts. They're already
Right.
You're down to your final, say like 23-man squad.
Yeah.
Healy's after organising a holiday to Lanzarote with his missus.
Yeah.
And then he gets the call. Oh, sorry, miss. Oh, you work is after getting on to me.
Yeah.
So he has to cancel that holiday, I guess, right there and then. I hope. We've never actually got an answer from Healy about that. Did he get to go on the holiday or not? Because obviously the time difference as well. The news comes out and Keane is telling people, and the press are right there and they're part of everything. So they all know.
It's probably 12 hours
So
from here.
So by the time that everyone's going to bed, now everyone's waking up. Everyone is going to bed with that news. Ireland wakes up to the news that Roy Keane's going home, and the nation freaks out.
People are not happy.
They're not happy with this. This is could you imagine?
I was there.
Yeah, but like that, you can't even. There's no Twitter. There's no social media to text people. There's no constant 24-hour news cycle.
Yeah.
That you're just kind of going like, whatever's happening right now, Ireland's woken up and the lads over there are still asleep.
We might have actually been in Lanzarote at that time. I remember being in Lanzarote.
Did you see one very sad woman?
Yeah, just by herself hanging by with the pool. We were there definitely for some of the group stage games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, actually, sorry, we were somewhere on holidays. Never mind. All of Ireland was going on holidays to Lanzarote at that time.
Yeah, because I remember. Well, we'll talk about it at the end of the thing. But I remember watching the games in because the Germany game was one of the few where everyone saw that in school. Because it was on during the daytime, and everyone was brought down to the hall. So I think everyone said that as a nation.
Yeah,
we just like the Board of Education were like, right, the Green Mile's not going on again, lads. That's not what it is.
What we're watching is a mile of green, lads, knocking ball into the box and seeing what happens.
Oh, what a game! What a moment! And just
everyone in the schoolyard the next day trying to do cartwheels. Yeah.
It was a lot of lawsuits.
Oh my god, they made the children injured.
But Irish physio Mick Byrne, he chatted to Keane as well as his agent Michael Kennedy, and convinced Keane to stay. And when he found out, but then Keane finds out. Right, so let me get this right in my head. Mick Byrne talks to him. Keane's already been talking to his agent as well, and possibly Ferguson at that point. I'm not sure about. I'm not sure about Ferguson because it's going to be a few different versions of this.
Yeah,
Keane agrees to stay, but then when he finds out that Colin Healy's already been called up, and they were that quick to just like go and get someone else / couldn't do it to another Cork man.
Yeah. Well, whether they're that quick to replace if he's like I'm
leaving. Yeah.
Then what are they going to do? Wait around and see if he changes his mind?
Well, yeah. Let him sleep on it. Literally, let him sleep on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But especially because it's not going to be your next starting player. You're going to get a lad to fill in from the
Yeah.
You're going to be bringing 4 or 5 midfielders. This lad's going to come over and probably not play a game anyway. You could wait 12 hours, regardless.
The whole core of his gripe is that the lads aren't taking it seriously or as a professional outfit. And he said, well, you should just, right before we head over to the World Cup, you should wait a day, see what happens.
Yeah. You can kind of see it from both sides.
Yeah.
But we don't know if that's why Keane was annoyed. He might have just been, if you've already called him, sure, I'm already happy to leave. The lads have had to talk me into staying.
Right.
So if you're already sorted, I'm good. I'll just tip on.
He wants to be wanted.
And then because McCarthy's talking to the media that he might have mentioned something around the lines of, oh, sure, if he comes back, the whole team would be on eggshells, walking around on eggshells. And Keane wouldn't like that. And he pulled out again.
Yeah.
But when he finds out all of this, then a big night of contemplation, phone calls with his family, Sir Alex Ferguson, Michael Kennedy, his manager, his agent. They convince him to stay.
Right.
So he decides.
The second time around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he decides now he is staying.
Yes.
Again. And then Mick McCarthy doesn't get told that. Instead, he has his agent phone the FAI, one of the members of the FAI, and tells him, no, don't worry, he's staying. So the next morning, McCarthy's told by I believe Mick Byrne or the FAI that Keane's staying. So he sends Mick down to Keane's bedroom to just confirm it.
Yeah, they're in the same hotel.
Yeah, but they're not talking
news
to
is
each
going
other.
over back to Ireland to come back to
Yeah.
Right.
And the agent would have been in England, I guess. So they're kind of like, and Alex Ferguson, it's all going on. The lads aren't talking to each other.
Yeah, and then meanwhile in Lanzarote there's a man strapping and unstrapping his boots.
Yeah, and a missus is freaking out.
He's putting his relationship on the line here.
Byrne comes back and says, oh, don't worry, he's saying he's definitely staying. But there's a rumour, story goes, and it's hard to prove these things, that they'd already sent in the official squad list without Keane's name on it, and Healy's one on it instead, and it's too late, and you
can't actually, okay.
Yeah, can't change it now. But then, as part of that, if that's what happened, the other part of that narrative, or that tale, is that when the FAI heard that he was coming, they sent in the team sheet for McCarthy.
Okay.
So with Keane's name on it. So if McCarthy did try to send one in with Healy on it, it was already too late. Mm-hmm. So now this is where the story will diverge, because some people think that McCarthy was like, even when he heard he was staying, he was like, no, I'm writing Healy down. But then the FAI superseded him and then went behind his back. Again, these things, everyone has... And no one's willing to talk about this.
Yeah, because that's surely verifiable.
Yeah, but you can't. You hear from both ends of it, because there's two camps in this, and both people swear blind that it's one way or the other. But yeah, by the time
he should have went back and asked for more Lloyd George. They could have got it all.
But by the time Mick returns, he says, "I think I've signed my football and death warrant. I think I've signed." But by the time Byrne gets back with the good news, they've already sent in the list. So it's big drama, right?
Yeah.
Now, again, I don't know if Healy got to go on that holiday, but he didn't get to go to the World Cup.
Right.
Instead, when Mick McCarthy would, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but just a little quick aside, there's a few asides in this. Mm-hmm. McCarthy would go on to manage Sunderland.
Yes.
And he would, in the next summer, sign Colin Healy from Celtic.
Okay.
Healy would play 20 games for Sunderland before he gets his leg broken.
Oh.
Comes back to training 10 months later. And in his first training session, McCarthy decides to join into the training session. And then in an overzealous tackle described by Healy as blank, breaks Healy's leg again.
Oh, fucking hell.
And then he never played for Ireland again. He made a career comeback where he managed to play consistently at the League of Ireland level. Yeah. But as a lad who was making it as a Premier League footballer, he went back to Ipswich for a couple of games and then made a career back in Ireland as for Cork City. So it was something, but real bad. Oh, like that World Cup is about to real soon.
Mick tries to sort him out, get him in on the team.
He does it to you again,
and
then that's basically your career as the top flight over. Not fantastic, but never mind Colin Healy and his bad run of luck.
Yeah,
let's get back to the positive things.
Mm-hmm.
Packy Boner comes out and says that bust up was less trouble than he'd have getting his son to do his homework. Don't be worrying about that.
Sure.
Yeah, that it's all grand.
It's fine.
Yeah, Keane.
Words between men.
Yeah, Keane's staying. And everyone's okay. And even though he gave out to Alan Kelly, he'd said directly after, he was like, I went to Alan and we chatted about it. I've had arguments like that 100 times in my career, which is the one, no one denies that one.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense.
Yep.
So this is where we do the Roy Keane and films.
Right.
on the way over, Roy Keane had watched Ali.
Okay.
Yeah, the Will Smith film. We just did the Muhammad Ali
Nice little
episode.
tie-in, yeah.
Go watch that. He was talking about when he evaded the draft, when he dodged the draft for the Vietnam War. Ali's family are telling him, you got to go do the draft. His country are telling him, you got to go and do the draft. You got to go to war. Everyone, his agents, everyone, they're telling him to go do it. And he's like, no.
Yeah. It's very comparable.
Yeah.
You know, he's a Cork man.
Roy Keane.
Living in a Dublin man's world.
A known Black Panther.
Yep. Yep. And it's not putting up with poor training facilities and refusing to pay for your country, even though everyone's telling you to, is the same as being a black man living in the segregated south of America, refusing to go fight and die in Vietnam. It's a good thing you watched that movie.
But then for the first time when he was going to go home before he switched and decided to stay, McAteer says that he's gone up to the room. I think this might be after the goalkeeping bust up like that time, but he's like, he's leaving. So McAteer goes up to talk to him first, but also he has a story he told a couple of years ago. He was like, he had a load of my DVDs and he was heading, I don't live in Manchester. He's heading to Manchester.
Yeah.
I want my DVDs back. And he goes up, he's like, I'm not talking to you, I'm not coming out of the room. He's like, I do kind of.
It's just about the DVDs.
Yeah, but I don't know if he ever says it to him because he's like, don't. If you're about to leave over lads not taking things seriously enough.
It's just, it's the Friends box set. It's got the behind the scenes director's commentary, Roy. If you could just leave that on the bed on your way out.
It's Armageddon. I want to hear Ben Affleck talk shit about it. But that's Jason McAteer's a little bit. That's the final time I think we're going to hear from him. But the Keane decides to stay. And obviously the news then gets back to Ireland that Keane's decided to stay, even though Josh Harton's been on telly telling everyone you're wrong to be supporting Keane. He's in the wrong here. And, obviously he's had problems with Keane before, and he's a fan of Mick because Mick's been his captain when he was managing. And also there's some people would be like, well, that's the manager and he's in charge of everything. Yeah. But then people would go, he's British and Roy Keane is right no matter what he's done. And that was the crux.
Well, that's why it's so fascinating even now, all these years on, where it's like there's no necessary, you could argue it either way. Yeah. Does the manager just get sort of unconditional deference? Or
if you're in charge of everything, but then it's also this rebel leader who has not showed up for the country on multiple occasions,
but is very talented
and is also a great leader. Yeah, so it's not like he's not showed up for the country for lots of times. Yeah, but not in important games.
But he's also, it's not as if he's like, I don't want to play this, I want to go play poker with the lads. He's like, you need to be. This is dangerous. At best, we're not doing it properly. At worst, it's
the game when he didn't show up against Portugal, the friendly match, that they did find him at watching cricket with all the Man United players.
Well, that's team bonding, you know.
But the next day, when all the lads are about to go, they might have like a morning time training session, or else it's a day off. But the lads are going off for a big golf trip. Before that, they're going to the cinema.
Hooray! A big day out for the boys
to watch Spider-Man.
Yeah, okay.
Nothing like Ali that was going to stir up some controversy, getting lads' heads. Just watch Spider-Man and maybe one lad will go, were there not some towers there before?
Yeah. Now this is the real comparison of like who's Spider-Man and who's the Green Goblin.
Oh, now we're good.
Mick just came up to him afterwards and was like, we're not so different, you and I. Together we can rule this city.
But the lads go and play golf after that.
Yeah.
And Keane,
just to let the concepts of Sam Raimi's first Spider-Man movie percolate. Yeah, it's the high ideas.
Wait, so Peter Parker was Spider-Man?
I didn't wait. Tobey Maguire's only in the movie for half the time. Where's
I like the green guy. Where's the orange one?
Yeah,
Mick,
I like that Franco fella. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana. This show is part of Headstuff Podcasts. Here's another show you might like.
I Know That Face is a movie podcast on the Headstuff Podcast Network, hosted by me, Stephen Portion.
And me, Andrew Carroll. Our show is all about character actors, the type of performers you'll see pop up in supporting roles in blockbusters, the type of people you know the faces, but not the names.
Each episode, we pick one particular character actor and discuss a couple of their movies, shining a light on the performer's career while giving listeners plenty of movie recommendations. So the show is a must for cinema lovers.
In previous episodes, we've covered the likes of Christopher Walken, Don Cheadle, Guy Pearce, Mia Goth, Michelle Yeoh, Parker Posey,
Philip Seymour Hoffman, Sam Elliott, Tilda Swinton, Viola Davis, Walton Goggins, and lots more.
Listen to I Know That Face wherever you get your podcasts or on headstuffpodcasts.com.
But yeah, Keane, instead of going with all of them, hangs around. And the players probably would have noticed it as they're all hopping on the team bus. He's down in the lobby, and instead of going watching the game with them or playing golf wouldn't be his thing. More of a thing for Roy Keane would be to sit down and do a slew of interviews with all the press.
Right.
Which wouldn't have gone well.
No.
That here's a couple of... there's one famous...
I like the Spider-Man, but I think there would have been better if there was 4 more of them. I think there needs to be Spider-Man from different dimensions. No, listen to me now.
Sorry, universes. Paul Kimmage interviews him. I believe for the Irish Times, I'm not sure about that, but I think it's the Irish Times. But he, here's a quote, here's some back and forth just from that. He asked him, "Did you watch the second leg in Iran on TV?" I won't do Keane out of respect. I know, Kimmage's class.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you watch the second leg in Iran on TV? Yeah, at home. I was flicking. You were flicking? Yeah. Why?
Hopping.
Because it wasn't a great game. Ooh. It was pretty dire.
Yeah.
And when we qualified, it was no big deal. I felt we qualified on the Saturday before. So there was no sense of elation. No. I remember in 94 going bloody berserk, and I remember all the scenes, but this was completely different. I think as you get older, you accept it. But this wasn't the interview that blew everything up, but you know, the news has been out that you're not happy.
Yeah.
You're going home. You've decided last minute to stay. Yeah. And now you're doing some interviews where you've been like, didn't even watch the fucking qualification game.
Shit.
Just keep that to yourself.
Yes.
You could just not say that.
Uh-huh.
Keane sits down then. This is the main one. This is the one that blows up. And in fairness, these quotes were not only meant to come out on the Saturday or the Sunday, they're explosive. They get released instantly.
What a man
it's the next
says
day.
On an upturned horse cart in Ennis is between him and the people he's talking to, right? They shouldn't be put into the press.
We should wade through the blood of Mick McCarthy. He goes, he sits down with convicted paedophile Tom Humphreys of the Irish Times. That was something he did.
Yeah.
After this.
Oh, after this.
Okay, maybe he was messaging that young girl at the same time. It's hard to... he was messaging a 14-year-old girl who had an eating disorder while he was a big, giant, fat man himself.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was messaging her, but it always felt weird that it was... Well, A, was weird that she was a child.
Yes.
And B, was
like
weird
you're focusing on the wrong part here.
I was like, well, he was so big and she was so small.
What would they talk about?
Yeah. He was like, look what I had for lunch.
It's a new thing. You take a picture of your food, you put it on the internet.
Yeah, it's weird. We don't have it in Ireland yet, but here they call it sushi.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, the interview was scheduled to be released like later on.
Yeah.
But because what Keane says, it makes it in the next day.
Okay.
And it's not so much an interview of like, a piece where he's talking about it's a Q&A.
Yeah.
Which is a weird style of... Maybe that's how interviews should be done, where you just give it verbatim. It's like, this is what I asked, and here's exactly what he said.
Yeah.
On the pitch and preparations, he goes, why do you think Saipan was chosen as a venue for preparation? Haven't a clue. Somebody came here once, and it looked nice once. They thought they were making an effort because it's really far away. Important things weren't looked at. Travel, of course. A training pitch.
Uh-huh.
In a video interview, another one he did say is like, we've had a few injuries and I can expect a few more, which made it sound like he was going to do them himself. But he was like, it's like training on a car park. But in his defense, he does say to Humphreys, he was like, I don't like when you touch children. But he says he doesn't mind the lads having a drink or going playing golf. But when it came time to train, that they should be could we just lock down and do 3 hours of solid training?
Yeah.
Because so far they've only done 3 1-hour training sessions.
Uh-huh.
And he's worried about playing this Cameroon team the next week. He says they could be in for a big shock. But he did go, we had a lovely day yesterday. We went up to a suicide cliff and learned the history. I enjoyed that. That was the nice side of it. but I keep saying to everybody, we're here to prepare for the World Cup.
Yeah.
I was going to go back up there today to the cliff and add an Irishman to the list.
Yourself, Roy? No.
You see, but it does say laughs. So Keane's making jokes.
Yeah.
He's like, it's gone now. This business. I said, it's gone now. This business. We'll just get on with it. Maybe it's the vibe I send out, the monster that's been built, some of it through my own doing, but I don't expect anybody here to tiptoe around me. Alan Kelly took the piss out of the thing today. He came out to training with the balaclava on. I was glad. Alan would be a player I would talk to a lot. I don't want to be burning my bridges there. I'd be down to 0.
Okay.
Which
did he pack a balaclava to go to Saipan? It's very warm.
We couldn't find a football, but we just.
Well, of course, we all have our novelty IRA costumes, which, as funny as it will be today, is even funnier but closer to the
This is a present from the hotel upon arrival.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the lads have all been watching Michael Collins.
Yes. But yeah, so this the news was meant to obviously come out later, but it came out instantly, which meant that before they got the plane to the mainland,
Japan.
Yeah, which I guess isn't the mainland, but the mainland of Japan.
Yeah. The Eternal Empire.
Yes. The paper is published on the Thursday. They fly out on the Friday. So in the team meeting, which again, it would have been the morning papers, I guess. So it's the night time by the time they're getting it. Yeah, the times are weird.
Sure.
It's like a Christopher Nolan film. He should have done Saipan.
Yeah. That'd be great.
That would be class. Yeah.
Fuck all the time dilation stuff. Just do, honest sports documentary.
Yeah, but the only time difference, like, you just can't figure out the actual time difference between Dublin and Tokyo.
Yeah.
It's the nighttime dinner. Yeah, so it's dinner time, basically.
Right.
And they're all going in for dinner. Mick calls a team meeting over dinner. And on the menu wasn't chicken or pasta. It was what Roy Keane had said to the press the day before. And Keane does it, and probably...
Just like the fish they be serving. Pretty raw.
And covered in rice. You dip it in wasabi.
Yeah. Served with a side of soy sauce. More like Roy sauce.
There you go.
Yep. I could have been writing for the fucking Sun back then.
When asked about his statements in the paper, Keane says he stands by him. And by that, he means he tells Mick to go fuck himself, and he calls him an English cunt and a wanker. He says that he didn't respect McCarthy as a player, as a manager, or as a person. McCarthy said that Keane faked an injury to not show up for the second game against Iran.
Yeah.
Then Keane said the only reason he has any dealings with him is because he's the manager of his country and he wasn't even Irish, that he was an English cunt or a wanker.
Yeah.
That's just...
Yeah.
It's not great.
That's not great.
This is a big blow up. McCarthy says that if you don't respect me, you probably can't play.
And this is all in front of
the whole team meeting. Lads are having their pasta. You think that'd calm right down?
Yeah.
But yeah, he says if you can't respect me, you can't play for me. Then Keane told him to stick his World Cup up his bollocks.
Yeah.
Which would be physically tough to do, but fair play to him. And he storms
out
of
the moment,
he storms out of the room.
Yeah.
And it's quiet for a minute then.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Jesus, that's tough. And then Gary Kelly pipes up, 3 cheers for the gaffer.
Yeah, it's a bit weak.
But no one then says whether they did them or not. I don't know, maybe they do. I doubt they do the cheer.
No.
But then Dean Kiley, who's the sub-goalkeeper, I mentioned earlier on, he says to Mick that he's like, if you're looking for someone in midfield, I could do a job in there. Which, again, I don't know if everyone laughs at this.
Yeah.
It's all in a very short space of time because within half an hour, McCarthy has the press down and they're doing video interviews. And he's after calling a press conference where he gets Steve Staunton, Alan Kelly, and Niall Quinn. All people you've heard of so far who, like Staunton, been drinking with him in '94. That was the big bust up from there.
Yes.
Alan Kelly, who he says he's one of his only friends in the camp. And they've just had a falling out, and that was already in the papers. Niall Quinn didn't play the testimonial, one of the senior figures of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Mick McCarthy. They all sit down, all the boys flanking Mick, and they say that this departure wasn't like the last time. He's gone.
Yeah.
This time it's for real.
Yeah. Or the other time.
Or this time it's definitely
Third time,
for
gone.
Keane's agent tells him that the interview's after happening, because Keane's just gone to his room, and within half an hour there's like basically like a live broadcast. I mean, I don't know if it's in time to make it back to the news or what's going on, but as Keane's after storming out in a fit of rage, you probably still could come back from this.
You could do the stanza of like, what, that? I run hot.
A man can't say that. I've had arguments like this hundreds of times in my career.
This is just how we talk about I was going to call Alice Ferguson a cunt many times. Do you reckon he's still planning on walking it back?
I doubt it.
Probably not.
Yeah, probably not at this stage. But he doesn't have any knowledge of the press conference until his agent calls him up.
Yeah. I suppose McCarthy for once wants to get to the press before Roy does. Yeah.
Although it kind of has been doing that throughout anyway, because Roy hasn't done the press. Usually Roy walks away from something, isn't around for a game, and then Mick is asked questions about it. Okay. And instead of saving Roy, saving face for Roy or whatever, covering for him, he's like, well, this is after what's happening. Yeah. And then
they should be talking to each other.
Or a therapist.
Newspapers.
A therapist, maybe.
Or a therapist, yeah.
But
this is before The Sopranos normalised such behaviour.
Or analysed this or analysed that, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Or anything was analysed. But if you had to find out that... Because one of the memories I have from that World Cup for some reason is finding out that David Beckham's hairdresser flew over to Japan. And that was in the papers here. And everyone was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And you're like, yeah, well... It is stupid, but he's like an international. That's part of his image or whatever. It's a brand thing.
He's a
but
model.
Found out,
as well as a footballer, he's a model and he's a multi-millionaire. And you're like,
but if we found out that a therapist had been sent over there, I think we would have lost a lot of respect for the game.
But the papers the next morning were full of the quotes of what Keane had said and done. So obviously, someone from the campus, someone's leaked it. Someone say exactly what's gone on. Civil war begins.
Yeah,
whole country's torn apart. Some people say that politics should stay out of football. But Bertie Ahern was there.
Yeah.
He's not staying out of football. This
is what people mean when they say politics should stay out of football. It's like, yeah, lads, leave the poppy and whatever off the pitch. They would like, get politicians into the game to make the players play it.
Well, Tommy Gorman, the journalist who will talk about him in a few minutes.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he talks to Bertie Ahern and tries to get him to call Keane. He's like, he floats the idea of maybe him stepping in and trying to fix this. He's just
useless in the midfield.
He's just done the peace process. That'd be.
Are you ready for something harder?
Yeah. Level
You've done
one.
A warm up.
Done. Right. Duolingo. Time for intermediate now.
Yeah.
Let's move in there.
Okay.
But he says that he never actually got the call. He said that there was a suggestion put to me. It came through Tommy Gorman that I would help when Tony Blair and I were doing the Northern Ireland peace processes. We rarely had all the parties in one room.
Yeah. What
you did was you separated one side from the other. What was required was to try get two people involved either together or to listen to one side or the other separately, and then try and find common ground together. This is what was required if it was called upon. And I really said I would, but was never actually called upon.
Right.
So he's brought that up as if to say, like, a journalist, Tommy Gorman, has said it to him. He's like, would you not step in here, Bertie? And it makes it sound like the
FBI had asked
him. One's ever asked him to do this. So the story doesn't exist. That's like if just a random person on the street said it to you.
Yeah.
It's just because Tommy Gorman does the video interview with him, which we'll get to very shortly now.
Yeah.
So obviously the debates are going on between like the whole country, dinner tables, families falling apart.
That's what they said with the Good Friday Agreement, that he had the Fenian in him, but like, his granddad was like he was a good mix of both. He was to play both sides. He was a Man United fan and
a good mix, a great Mick.
A great Mick. But he'd be...
he's bad.
He'd be able to bridge the divide. Ancestors from Cork, himself of Dub. I think he'd be able to do it.
Oh, I never thought about the Cork thing, yeah.
Yeah. If there was one man who could have done it.
No. I would have liked to have seen him try.
I feel like Bertie's been kicked around too much in the last couple of weeks.
If he had got that, even despite the Moriarty Tribunal, despite everything,
he'd be president now.
He would still be. Yeah, he would be president. Yeah. C-Mac couldn't stop him.
Even C-Mac couldn't stop that. Yeah. Lads would be like, well, we won the 2002 World Cup, so.
The debate raged on around. It's all around the country.
Yeah,
and that's the question. The question that's on everybody's lips.
Whose side are you on?
Does Roy Keane have the cutest dog in the world?
Yeah,
he's back in Cheshire now with Triggs.
Good boy Keane.
Triggs has been back there. He's waiting for a walk. He's been walking multiple times a day.
That's true.
Jumping over a fence, chasing an old ball, and that's what Keane spends the rest of his the World Cup doing.
playing with Triggs.
Yeah, but because the media go and like camp outside of his house.
Yeah.
And so every day he's just going for a walk with the dog and just throwing a ball around, and he's like walking very fast and very angry, sometimes with a bit of a smile on his face, but just as a way to be like, I'm not letting it affect me, I'm doing my regular daily routine.
Yeah, angrily walking.
And that's all we'd learned from Keane for the first couple of days. He did one or two media quote like into the papers where he said like, I'd never play for McCarthy again. But this is before the famous Tommy Gorman interview.
Yes.
I should have said the Keane that he booked his own flight home. Yeah. Because the FAI, in fairness, they probably offered, but it would have been like 4 layovers, and he probably would have missed the first like 2 games of the Premier League. It's like you'd actually have to wait in Finland for a week, and then come back here. Ryanair, there's a strike. You can't.
Yeah.
But Man United offer when he's back home, that they offer, if you want to go back, we'll fly you a private jet back
to Japan.
Yeah, and I imagine that's probably the first time where Keane's like, hold on, there's a direct flight. Get the what?
Oh, if you thought he was angry at the FAI before.
And if you don't know Tommy Gorman, for anyone, any of the newer generation, if you see him interviewing someone, that means you've called in the big dogs.
Yes.
Triggs.
Yes.
But yeah, if you're sat across from him, something's going on. That's like, if he walks through, not to say it's like Chris Hansen, but this is like, this is serious.
Yeah.
Because the same year he's done, in 2009 he did Sean Quinn.
Yeah.
And in that same year, he did Jerry Adams as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, but his breakthrough, his number one hit from the early days.
Yeah.
Saipan.
Yeah.
Roy Keane. I'm not going to go through the interview. It's famous. You can just go watch it. He's talking about, what about the kids of Ireland? What if he said sorry? What if you said sorry? And it's R.I.P. Tommy Gorman.
Yep.
Terrible interview. Of just he's like a child just asking him. He's like,
he's emotional,
but he's like, please come on. He's after calling Bertie, and he's like, you should get involved in this, and I'm going to try my best, and I'm going to ask him, and I'm going to nearly cry in the interview. And you're like, it's a man who's 31, I think, at the time,
Keane,
who's not playing football now.
Yeah,
if you had asked me 3 years ago, I would have felt very different about it. But then it turns out you get a bit older, very important things happen in the world.
Yeah,
and this isn't that.
Not in 2001.
Not back then.
But yeah. 2002 even, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a halcyon time for the Western world.
Yeah, but that's like, we are, it's less than a year removed from, say, 9/11.
Yeah.
Or it's around the time of, Iraq.
Yeah.
And he's there, but like, it's the biggest, most important thing. Ireland can't stop thinking about it. The nation's tore apart. There's like, and obviously that is true as well. I do wonder what I would have been like at the time.
Well, you were alive at the time.
No, but I mean, like, if I was my age now, if you're in your, because when you hear all these people who still go like, oh, it was shocking. There was arguments in pubs, everyone was freaking out about it. You go, if you were a 30-something-year-old man or woman who, because then when I see all the videos and the documentaries about people, making signs, going out in the street and protesting, going down to Leinster House, all of this stuff, you're like, what are you?
Yeah.
Have you not got anything better to do here?
But you see people like,
but also because we didn't have, and you wouldn't have access to the full story at the time.
Yeah.
So that you're hearing tidbits, and everyone is so strung up on their version of events and what they think is right and wrong.
Yeah.
And they go, no, this is what happened. He definitely said all of these, and then
news is coming out in drips and drabs.
Because now it comes out, and you're kind of like, oh, I've seen all of this. I've known you hear versions of events from either side, and it's kind of gets a little murky. But also, we've just given you a couple of, like, nearly 2 hours of the history of all of this, and you go, oh yeah, it's not cut and dry either way. You can see it from both men's perspective. At the time, that didn't exist.
No.
But I'm sure that there were people there been like, what? We've got about 6 years left of this country existing. And then...
Yeah. But they were well in the middle of the good times.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably...
Mick Williams was definitely there, been like, it's coming to an end.
Yeah. Well, you got, Bertie's going to be around for the next 100 years. I think maybe the Ryan report is around 2002, if I'm remembering the name of that report rightly, but the one about all the Catholic Church scandals, that's all coming out. But, yeah, there's other big issues happening in the world.
But yeah,
but also all the cultural. But there's a lot of
But that interview as well is one where it's Keane sits down to, I think, save face and give his side of the narrative. He knows he's not going back, and that's what he's like. He's asked, "Is it hurting him?" He's like, "Of course it's hurting me. There's nobody who wants to play for Ireland more than me." And a lot of it is just him getting his side of the story out first.
Yeah.
And also kind of looking at Corbyn when he's asking him all these things about the children of Ireland and the people are never going to go over. And you can see in his face, he's like, what are you on about?
Yeah.
Because he can't see it from that perspective. He's like, now he would have said that maybe since then, but he's like, oh yeah, I talked to my brothers and sisters at home. I knew, and my family and all the, like, for Sir Alex Ferguson, and everyone was telling him how big of a deal it was, and it was rough.
Yeah.
But he, like, from his point of view, he's like, it's a man playing football.
Yeah. He's
like, there's other things. It's very important. Obviously, he's made his life.
It's his career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's like, right, this has happened, and it's not the end of the world. It's not. Again, he could have
the end of the World Cup.
But he could have looked at, like, other things of, like, that could have been the end of the world, like nearly World War III starting.
Yeah, but I don't think Roy's going to be like...
He's a smart man. He's into things.
Yeah. But
because I imagine he would have been there, maybe not thinking of himself as the center of the entire universe, going. It's hard to say, but like that, he would have been like, oh yeah, literally all these other news stories, and it's been weeks, or we'll say at least a week, or whatever.
Yeah.
And people just keep talking about me and me and me. It's like everything else that happened that week around the world was probably bigger news than.
That's true, but for Tommy Gorman and for the children of Ireland, it is definitely. And I suppose, you're saying that they're in a bit of a dip at that time where they've gone through the banter era.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have necessarily...
No, the banter is coming after. We got so close a couple of times. It was always playoffs, so we're doing well. But we won't get into a playoff this time, Kevin.
I know, but I mean, I guess people wouldn't have even known... Like, retrospectively, like, that was it. That was the big chance.
Yeah.
At the time, you're probably like, it's not that big, whatever, we missed this one, but in 2 years it'll be the Euros, 4 years we'll be back at it again.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bury the hatchet for that one.
It was the end of it.
That was it.
Yeah.
So that makes it more painful looking back. But what, you reckon at the time he was just like, it's just a game. We'll get it
I
next
think
time.
it's kind of like, once it all blew up like that, I wouldn't be surprised if he was like, yeah, I'm not playing at the World Cup. And it was, maybe in later times he would have been like, oh, there's another football special thing up there. Yeah.
Just when you think you're out, McDade's. They don't have a slogan, do they?
The
McDade's, man of the match. Wait, McDade's, can of the match.
But I don't know, it's hard to know. The way he's saying it in the interview, I kind of do believe him, where he's like, it's not the end of the world. Ireland are still at the World Cup. It's not like I'm stopping the lads from playing.
No.
I'm just not there because and he said it like, he'd said it, there was reports of him retiring after the World Cup anyway, and there was reports, and then he'd said in one of the interviews, he's like, no, I was going to retire after the Euros, the next Euros, and then I was going to be done. But he was like, now it's just come a bit early, and it's like, he had mentioned, he was like, oh, I love the 90 minutes that I play for Ireland is great, but I hate all the other parts of it.
Yeah.
And this is another thing. He's gonna keep playing for Man United, and this is just one tournament that he didn't play in. He didn't get to play in the Champions League final in '99 because he got 2 yellow cards in the semi-finals, so he missed out on that. He's a man who's lost things before.
And to be
he's
fair,
like, you'll deal with it and it'll be grand. But Ireland couldn't see that because they were like, we need our best player, which is true.
Yeah.
But it's just like watching the interview, I do believe he believes it, that he's like, it's not, you'll get over it. Like, the kids of Ireland will get over it.
Well, they haven't.
They haven't, and neither have
we were those kids,
and neither have the men who were.
Yeah, but we were we were the kids Tommy Gordon was talking about. And we're still talking about it now.
I'm redoing a 2-hour podcast.
This is the third time we've done this, baby. But from his point of view, all the stuff you said, he wasn't enjoying any aspect of it outside of the football. So for him, it probably does seem a bit more easy decision to be like, shit, you like. It's not.
He took about 9 months off for playing for them in '96 when McCarthy came in. He's missed loads of games. He's like, obviously it's the World Cup, it's tough, but he's done a World Cup. He's done it in '94 when Ireland are like, oh, this is our great chance. He's like, I did a World Cup. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah, but we could have won a World Cup.
Now that's we'll talk about that at the very end very quickly.
Right.
But the Brendan McKenna, the FAI press officer, he calls his own press conference short notice. Not the manager, not the players. He gets ahead. Well, weird that it's not John Delaney, because this is when he's inserting himself into the FAI a bit like front and center. He does a lot of media stuff around this time.
Yeah.
But this is Brendan McKenna, and he says, regrettably, the manner of Roy Keane's behaviour prior to the departure from Saipan and the comments attributed to him since have left the staff and players in no doubt that the interests of the squad are best served without Roy's presence. Then Niall Quinn steps in front of the press a little while after, and he says, unfortunately, the statement was released here today. It was very early for a reason we don't know how yet, and why.
Right.
It came out way too soon. It was to follow Mick's press conference, and it would have been far easier after Mick's press conference to swallow it like that it does now.
Right.
It is now. The Keane's interview didn't fix anything with Mick, and now, and maybe it wouldn't have anyway if he had have apologised. A lot of people said if he had said sorry there, he worked his way around saying sorry. He said, of course I want to play for Ireland, I do want to play for Ireland, all these things. Didn't apologise for, he did berate him. Now, obviously, Mick questioned whether he was injured, and there was a lot of stuff going on.
Tensions are high.
I think they're both wrong.
Yes.
Whereas before I would have thought they were both wrong, but I would have still sided on with Keane.
Yeah.
Now he should have just played.
Yeah.
And he should have been. You can't go around screaming at your manager like that in front of all the players.
Yeah.
If that had happened, how would anyone in the team respect the manager?
Yeah.
In any of those games, how would you? Like.
But why should you respect the manager if the manager can't respect themselves?
I think Mick did respect himself, and that's why he was willing to get rid of his best player to be seen.
That is a pretty.
No one there could respect him if he was to turn around, and then he also would have had to leave the job afterwards because
it's a difficult choice.
Yeah,
like Shell on the forecourts.
I thought Shell were just off the coast of Galway.
There you go. But it is bizarre that like the whole thing could have been sorted out with like. Although it doesn't seem like they've invested much in training facilities at all, but if they had invested in like, surely teams have on-hand mediators or therapists, or like if you're dealing with such big egos,
they have psychologists now.
Yes,
sports psychologists would be deal with a full team because they know everything going on within them and they'd understand the dynamics and everything. But
you're dealing with a lot of like big personalities. No, obviously not then. No,
and Irishmen. That's true. Yeah. Sigmund Freud said there's the only Irish sports stars are the only men that you can't psychoanalyze. But Quinn, clearly emotional at this point, let slip that that morning when he was doing the press conference, that morning McCarthy came in and said Keane wasn't coming back, or else McCarthy.
They got Robbie too.
No, but they had to choose between Roy and Mick.
Oh.
And so it's time for it's an ultimatum. And he told the players to chat amongst themselves and he'd come back with the decision. And the players vote 22-0 in favour of McCarthy.
Right. Because
I guess if you don't...
Well, is it a secret ballot or what?
It's not Hawley, no.
Well, like that's...
I'd say, imagine it is probably, it probably is relatively secret. The lads was talking about it amongst themselves, but then they go, because it says that it's 22-0.
Yeah.
But very contentious. I think it's because...
but it was very close, 22-0. Well, the score didn't reflect the game.
It's because if any of the lads had have went, it would have got around. Obviously, things are leaking to the press. Everyone knows
that is true.
If anything, if you said, I'm on Keane's side, you're like, oh yeah, no, you can stay at the tournament. I'm not playing you.
Yeah.
Like, Mick wants, even if it's fake, a full vote, but everyone is on side. So that's when it comes out and says the whole squad is against Keane. They're not. Lads still won't talk about it.
Sure.
But they say it's like, it was heated. Yeah. And a lot of people saw Roy's side and people could see it but they were there as well. They could see it from both sides.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like there's an awful lot of love lost between like Keane shouting at Alan Kelly, shouting at players, he's giving them shit, giving out to them for drinking. He stole Jason McAteer's DVDs. Like they're probably not fully, even in retrospect, if they're like, would have been much better because he was there. At the time, they're probably like...
No, I think genuinely that they're like, he's so good he can get away with it.
Okay.
That they're all like, he does play for Man United. He is Roy Keane.
Yeah.
And it's like, what can you do? But McCarthy says that there's no coercion in the vote and that the players came to decision themselves and said that if Keane apologised through the correct channels, that it could be put to the players again. But he never did. Never was. But obviously he knew that he was never going to...
Yeah.
Keane wasn't going to apologise. It's easy saying, we'll vote again if Keane apologises. Keane isn't going to apologise. So he knows then and there that
surely that's an easy enough apology to be like, I'm sorry, I called you a cunt in front of the rest of the boys. Like, that's an easy enough one you can couch in a way.
And then Mick could also be like, I'm sorry I questioned whether you were injured for Iran. And then we can just move on
and win the World Cup.
Keane released a press release. Saying that the damage was done and he didn't consider his return to the World Cup in the best interests of the Irish football, given all that's gone on.
Know about it?
So the game is up.
Yeah,
but then outside of that game, There's 4 matches. There's
football games.
Yeah, there's a load of games we actually got to play.
So yeah, the tournament hasn't even started yet.
No.
Yeah.
This is right in the lads' heads directly before.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest tournament of their lives.
But maybe it's just the kind of dog that they need in them. Tricks.
Yeah. So the rest of the tournament, real quick here. Matty Holland scores a daisy cutter to rescue a draw against the sleeveless Cameroon. They got
sleeveless.
They got to wear jerseys. They didn't have sleeves.
Why?
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got a 1-1 draw against them. Then we go on to play Germany. Robbie Keane gets on the end of a last-minute Niall Quinn knockdown, gets a goal against Ollie Kahn. Outside of Ronaldo, only man to score at the tournament against Oliver Kahn.
Yes.
Germany went on to the final to lose to Brazil. We drew with them. After the draw against Germany, because that's 2 draws now.
Which is, I remember the Germany game.
It was like a win, basically. Because because Cameroon, they were playing Germany next, but Germany heavily favoured to go and beat them because they were class and beating everyone. I think they just beaten like Saudi Arabia like 8-0 or 9-0. It was so it was crazy that we got that result. And after that game, the lads stay out drinking till 4 o'clock.
Nice.
In fairness, it was only Saudi Arabia next, and they just lost like 8 or 9-0 to the team that we drew with.
Yeah.
And we even pissed off their tits. We still bet them 3-0. Damien Duff does his bow.
Yes.
Gary Breen, I think Robbie Keane gets one in that game as well. 3 days before, obviously they're going out drinking that night as well.
After beating the Titans of Saudi Arabia, you bet you're so.
But then they got to fly over to Korea because the World Cup's in Korea and Japan.
Yes.
3 days before the Spain game, the lads head out to an Irish bar for a couple of quick ones. Mick knows about this. He brings them all down.
Before the game?
3 days before.
Okay, sorry.
So Mick is like, no, come on down. Spain are still playing their game.
Yeah.
So if they win or whatever, or maybe they already knew at that stage we're going to be playing them. So they say, we'll all go down to an Irish bar, have a couple of beers, we'll watch the game together, a good team bonding exercise.
Yeah.
They stay out until 3 a.m.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is an hour less than they had done against Germany.
They're getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in fairness, they'd said that McCarthy brought them down for a couple of beers and then that they brought them all back.
Yeah.
And Damien Duff said that 12 of them snuck back out to stay out till 3 o'clock. So that he brought them back. He was like, I can give him a little bit of leeway. Give him, let the leash go loose for a little. Have a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Back for like
have
11 o'clock.
Fun. It's only like, halfway through the fucking group stages of the...
No, this is going into the quarterfinal. This is going into the knockout stages. This is right before the biggest game now. And we're watching the team we're about to play.
Yeah.
And
having pints.
They're out
studying them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he allows that and they have a couple of beers and then he brings them all back to the hotel.
Who knows?
Damien Duff says, because he's in a group called, he never revealed who they are, but they used to call themselves the Dirty Dozen. And
that's most of the team.
Yeah, it is. It's over half the team. Actually, way more now because Keane's gone around to 22.
The Dirty Bakers Dozen.
And it was too late once Keane, because Colin Healy couldn't get drafted in late because the squads had already been officially done. So he never got to go. But that Damien Duff said that they snuck out and stayed out until 3 o'clock in the morning and they got so locked. Him and Stephen Reed went down to a comedy club and both performed a set.
Oh my God. So there's a drunk Damien Duff stand-up set.
He said, and no video of it. Same for Stephen Reed. It was a different time.
Hell.
And they were like, they both, because I think he had said something like, if they had more money or more sense, that they would have went to a nightclub or somewhere else, but they both go down and do what he calls sketches. So they go up one after each other and do their sketches. No memory of what they did, but they went down and signed their name up. I imagine there's an open mic in Seoul, wherever the game was.
Yeah.
And
there's a couple of people who saw that who have no idea what they saw.
Yeah.
But that's amazing.
We'll face... we'd gone to face Spain in the last 16.
Mm-hmm.
A match that would have been very winnable with A decent ref, or B, the best midfielder in the world.
Yeah, okay.
After Ian Hart had a penalty saved, Kevin Kilban blasted the very scoreable rebound wide off his shin. That still hurts. We'd missed a string of chances. We probably should have had another penalty, and we eventually drew the game last minute with a penalty from Robbie Keane. Extra time, pretty tight. We go on to lose 3-2 in penalties. Shea Given, the ball goes right down the middle of the goal. Given sticks his leg up, it skins off his foot, he nearly saves it, and then I cry my little eyes out.
Yeah.
I've only cried at 2 football games ever, and God, it still hurts.
Yeah. I remember leaving the Fairways Hotel, because I guess the game was probably early in the morning here.
Yeah, I can't remember that. Or I remember being at home because I saw the German. I remember seeing the Cameroon game at my ma's friend's house, and I remember seeing the Germany game in the school hall.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia game, can't remember. That was an easy one. That was a gimme. I was out till 3 o'clock the night before. And then the Spain game at home, and I couldn't even. I was in and out for the penalty shootout.
Yeah,
that I didn't see all the penalties. I was like I couldn't because it was just.
I remember that
I was a kid.
Granda, yeah,
9.
Going in to watch it, and just the sort of the sadness walking out of a place at early in the morning with just a load of men in silence was something I don't think I've experienced since.
The lads see it as a success. They go drinking. They're all happy with it. David Duff said they went on the piss so hard he walked through the park that night and found Gary
himself in North Korea. Gaffer, I've gone over the DMZ. Fucking hell.
Duff, you should have used that in your stand-up set.
But I can only imagine if David Duff was doing the sort of bow on stage, what sort of stuff he would have been doing when the cameras weren't on him.
But no, he said that he found Gary Kelly. Maybe it wasn't a park. I'm pretty sure he said it was. It was the Open Goal podcast. I saw a bit that he'd said he walked through and saw Gary Kelly, Richard Dunn, and Ian Hart sleeping on the streets of Seoul. I think maybe in a park, but they said and they were shoeless at the time, and then said that why they were shoeless was because they took their shoes off and put them in a bush to help them sleep.
That makes so much sense.
I was like, oh, sorry, I didn't know why your shoes were.
Yeah.
Oh, it's to help us sleep.
Now I feel stupid for asking the question. Yeah. Amazing.
It's everyone had a great time.
Yeah. Celebrating the loss.
Yeah, but and it could have been more. But that's so when people say we could have went on and won the World Cup. No, we couldn't have because we were playing Korea next.
Yeah.
Who were A, at home. B,
Yeah.
had clearly been bright. Like,
I think you can say.
Okay, pretty. Yeah, I mean they beat Spain and they got into the semi-finals of the, and then they lost in the semis. But you're like, that's.
But with Roy,
from what I remember, anyway, in my head, that's what happened. Yeah,
yeah, I think you're right. But I think
that but no, they were definitely. It was we need a home nation to do well and go on. You're not going to win the thing, but you can beat this pretty. The Spanish team was class. They had like Pinheiro, Morientes, Puyol was in there. You'd got Gazica Mendieta. They had so many class players, but they were also real flaky, and we should have bet them. And we
but if we almost beat them without Roy, surely we would have beaten them with Roy.
And we could have we could have bet them without Roy. And then we probably and just on talent we probably could have beat Korea as well, but then you would have got found out in the semis, so it's whatever. But like we could have got to the semi-final. We were never beating that Brazil team, and we were never getting that result again against Germany.
No,
but semi-final of a World Cup.
That would have been
still never been to a semi-final of a Rugby World Cup, and that's what we're actually meant to be good at.
Economically, the money that could have been made in that extra couple of games would have seen us through the crash, I think.
Oh yeah, no, the crash wouldn't have happened.
No,
the Bertie Bowl would have been built. Guinness would have never sponsored rugby. We would have never become rugby country.
Wouldn't have had a chance.
No, it was game over.
Yeah,
Ireland would have been the sponsor of Man United.
Yes, Man United sponsored by the Ireland team. Yeah. Goddamn. If it had been like a movie, we would have just seen like the boys panting halfway through the Spanish game, and then over the tannoy, just substitution. Roy
Colin Healy.
Yeah. But Well, what could have been ultimately wouldn't have really changed anything. We would have just got to the semi-final.
We would have got through the Korea game.
But it wouldn't have changed the trajectory of the rest of Irish football.
No, if we had beaten Korea.
Yeah.
And got to the semi-finals.
Yeah.
Actually, no, it probably would have been even worse, because then the FAI could have been like, see, you should keep funding us. We should get more money.
We would have just had further to fall from.
Yeah, you should give Delaney more power, and you should look into the books even less.
There's even less to see here. Yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, we'd still be in the same place. But we just would have had another couple of weeks of happiness.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, and all other disappointments since then would have been even greater, because we would have remembered the time we got to a semi-final.
Yeah.
Oh, but you know what I'll leave you on?
No.
The song that the team recorded before going out to the 2002 World Cup. Back when teams used to record songs.
What do you mean when teams used to record songs?
It used to be a big deal that lads would, there's a history of this in the Premier League as well as international sides, and Liam's we're all part of Jackie's Army. That was a song release.
That's true, yeah.
That was a big deal. That was a number one, I assume.
Yeah, probably.
Unless Joe Dolan was in the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you've
doing a cover of Jox's Trip to Europe.
But see, there was I don't know if that wasn't an official one, but there was a lot. It was great times.
It was great times.
What a little country we are.
God, we had a great 10 years of football there.
Yeah, fair play. That's what FIFA said in '97.
All right, well, that was great, and we'll never see those happy days again.
Yeah, we'll revisit this topic in about 3 years.
All right, good luck,
Shafter.
This Irish team has achieved a magnificent success. It's going to be a magnificent trip. Iran 1, Ireland 2, and Ireland on the way to the World Cup. Oh, he's got it! Roy Keane!
It's been a long time since the USA. We've come this far, now we're gonna go all the way. With Keane to lead us, there is nothing to fear. 'Cause this time 2002 is gonna be our year. We all believe in the Irish team. We all believe in Mick, McCarthy's dream. With the ball at our feet, we shoot, we score. This time we celebrate. Let's hear the Irish roar. We're dreaming of goals in the rising sun. An Irish name on each and every one. Win, lose or draw, stand up for your team. Let's make ourselves heard. Let's shout, let's scream. Here come the good times. Here come the good times. Here come the good times.
Roy Keane, he's not a good player, he's not a great player, he's a world-class player.
Do you know what, Dustin? That should be me going to Tokyo.
More like Pimlico. Come on, Nicky!
It's good to hear the cheers again. It's good to be in green again. It's good to hear us singing one more time.
Singing, will you flush that after you?
Here come the good times. Here come the good times. Here come the good times.
What a goal! Come on, the good times!
That's my team, those are my players, my tactics.
Here come the good times. Here come
Brings to Robbie Keane.
This show is part of the Head Stuff Podcast Network, a hub for the creative and the curious. Shows are produced in association with Head Stuff and the Podcast Studios Dublin. Find out more or become a member at headstuffpodcasts.com.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.